Squishies, welcome back to another episode of Replay, the show where games are art. This time I'm working on the Ur-Quan Masters. I've upgraded my ship a bit and generally run screaming. So as you can see, I'm a lot more maneuverable and faster now. So, after the horrifying near defeat last time, I think I know where I want to go next, which is just barely inside Ilroth's space. Now, I happen to remember this particular system off the top of my head. I played this game a lot when I was younger. So let's go check out one of the most interesting species in the game. And one of the fun things about these guys is that the commander knows nothing about them. Because he only has info, other than a couple of hints, he only has info about the species who were involved in the war, which basically means the ones that were in Star Control 1. This is one of the new species for Star Control 2. So this is some pretty great game design in my opinion. They ran with the assumption that most players would start out exploring the area around Earth. So they crowded that area with familiar species. Almost everyone next to the Earth is from Star Control 1, with one exception, and it's one of the most entertaining and important, actually, species in the entire game. So let's meet them. Can I reach their planet before they catch me? Yes! Now, I believe this is our first time encountering this. Sometimes when you when you get into an encounter, the game shows you, you have so many ships to fight. Sometimes there will also be a planet. Sometimes the game will show you this. There are a lot of ships here, but what this actually means, you can see some of the ships are running off the edges of the screen. That's meant to suggest there are actually infinitely many ships to fight here. So fighting is not what we want to do.
A spirit box rings within my soul. It tells me that I must give you something great on your new quest. What spirit? What must we give this young soul? Mineral resources? No. Important secret? No. Starship? No. Then what is the spirit? Bring it out. What? Nothing? Are you sure? Okay, here you go, Captain. Take this clear spiritual. It is an ancient and powerful device, built by the people hundreds of thousands of years ago. What does it do, right? I haven't the slightest idea. A special fortune and serendipitous omen that would hold your arrival.
That's good.
Welcome, alien Jack, to the home of the gentle and playful Pkunk, children of the constant hobgoblins of joy, secrets of spiritual truth, and other new stuff like that.
So, welcome to the Pkunk. The Pkunk are utter nonsense, and I adore them with every fiber of my being. They may be my favorite Star Control species. They are basically parodies of hippy-dippy crystals and astrology, new age woo. And they're spot on. I love little things like they'll occasionally mention their astrology and their constellations have extremely silly names because they're not from Earth. So of course their night sky looks completely different. So of course their astrology would be completely different. And they just have this wonderful, like, floaty voice, and every once in a while their psychic nonsense will actually produce something useful. You know what they're like? To use a slightly more recent, still not that recent, people who grew up on it or in college now, dear God, I'm old. But to use something slightly more recent than this game, they're basically an entire species of Professor Trelawney's from Harry Potter. And that's great. And I'm going to start by asking them about the Ilroth, because their home planet is inside Ilroth space.
Why should we mind? We bear the spidery creatures no ill will. Without darkness, there is no light. Without death, there is no birth. And thanks to the Ilrath, there's lots of birth.
That is a great line. They do seem rather hostile.
We have delved most deeply into the dark and risky heart of the Ilrath. And what do you suppose we found there? Well, we found a torpid, vile, malign, odious, spiteful spirit. Right, no surprises there. What did surprise us, though, was what we saw when we regressed into the past lives. It turns out that in their last lives, the Ilrath were all shining beings of pure light and blissful love. They had reached the pinnacle of spiritual evolution and could go no further. They were perfection. And then, somehow, they got just a tiny bit better, and wham! They were all of a sudden totally evil. Wouldn't you know it? Get too perfect and you wrap right around to evil. That's why we've become strived to be perfect. But always do little bad and annoying things to keep from ending up like the Ilrath.
I love that because that is simultaneously a joke about past lives and spiritual perfection, all of that stuff, and a programming joke. Because certain kinds of numerical variables, if they get too high, the leftmost digit of them in binary, the first digit, which is, going to be the largest one, for certain kinds of variables, instead of denoting how big they are, it's positive versus negative. But if you don't program carefully, when it reaches, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, if you then add 1, it becomes 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, and that means, and then you add another 1, and it's 1, 0, 0, 1, that first one means it's negative. So it wrapped around to negative 1. And then you keep going, the numbers are increasing, but the program interprets them as more and more negative. Final Fantasy VI, actually, which I, of course, was one of the first things. Was it the first? Yeah, the first thing I did for replay. Had an infamous bug where magic damage worked like that. And it was possible to get to the point where you could no longer cast the most powerful spells in the game because they would do negative damage to the enemies, and the game would register that as healing. So again, it amuses me. When did they start attacking you?
Well, that's easy. It was exactly 27,000 rotations of the seventh planet in the house of HopePkunk. Before the first alignment of the special constellation of Big Big with the heavenly body of Shamlathul, which was really only a partial alignment. I guess you would say 8 years ago.
There's their weird astrology stuff.
We have calculated that at our present rate of attrition, we will exist only on the spiritual plane in a matter of a year or so. Of course, the physical realm does hold a certain coarse attraction, a material quaintness, if you will. We will be somewhat disappointed to have to leave it.
Can they be stopped?
An interesting question. The answer would be yes. If some benign and loving, yet incredibly destructive and powerful force were to simultaneously rip off all of their legs and drop their putrid insects into steaming pools of molten metal, that would have the desired result of ending the conflict. Was I jest? Of course, I'll bear the Ur-Quan no ill will. How could I, when I'm filled only with love?
Okay, this actually came up recently because of stuff a very weird presidential primary candidate said. I won't get into details of what they said, but this came up recently that a lot of this kind of like put positive vibrations out into the world and positive things will somehow happen to you has a lot of issues with it. One is that it's very victim blaming, but another one is that telling people to be positive all the time is really, really toxic. Unexpressed anger in particular can just poison you psychologically. Now, that doesn't mean, go out and murder everyone who pisses you off. Obviously, there are appropriate and inappropriate ways and times to express anger. But you gotta get it out of you, because in you, it just rots. And so that's kind of what's happening here with the HopePkunk, is nobody can keep their anger in that perfectly. Nobody can be positive all the time when terrible things are happening to them, like spiders from space waging genocidal war on them. So of course, they get mad.
Yes, you're right. Why dwell on the heinous Ur-Quan when we could speak of flowers, rainbows, fairies, and crystal magic? Do you know, for example, that there is an invisible fairy spirit at this moment sitting on your head and making humorous faces at me? The mysteries of the universe. Try to understand them, but can you? No, they're mysteries.
I actually say that line not infrequently. The mysteries of the universe. Try to understand them, but can you? Nope, they're mysteries. However, the other thing I wanted to say was, remember that bit about there being an invisible fairy on my head? In certain later conversations with the Arelu and Melno, because that might be one of the cases of the HopePkunk being onto something. There's a few hints elsewhere in the game that my character is being monitored. Anyway, I think it is time to introduce myself, and I had actually forgotten that I named my ship the Dachshund.
Yes, we know all that. We are not known throughout the galactic sector as powerful psychics for nothing. Of course, we already know the answer to this next question too, but we enjoy conversation. Why have you come here?
Let's see. That one's always fun. I like when the game takes little pokes at Star Trek. And I also really like, actually, this particular one, 5-year message to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no, and that's where it cuts off, because the next word after no is different between the original series and the next generation. And this game originally came out at the height of the next generation, which therefore was also the height of Kirk vs. Picard. Which one are you? Where does your allegiance lie? I'm guessing, given this game's heavy Golden Age science fiction influences, they were more TOS fans, but can't say for sure. And the point is, by ending it there, they completely sidestep having to essentially declare allegiance to one or the other by choosing between man and woman. However, this has to be the answer I use. Oh, no reason. We thought we'd just take this baby out for a little cruise, and would you look at where we ended up?
My telepathic sensors are telling me that you're repressing something. Repress. What is it? Come on. What is it? I see a smile. You're smiling. Tell the cookie the secret. Come on. Now, Stevie, gonna tell Birdie the cookie big secret?
Yeah. They actually won't accept any answer except telling them that you're... actually, I can't remember if the only answer they accept is telling you you're there to help or that you're there to ask them for help. I think it's that you're there to help.
Forming a psychic link with you. I sense that you refer to a conflict with the Ur-Quan. I sense that you are offering to venture single-handedly deep into Ur-Quan space and to battle with their best numbers. And I can see that you give not even a thought to the danger you would be in. You are noble indeed, and I accept your offer of aid. But in spirit alone, the karmic burden of your gruesome death would be too great. Still, I say thank you, Captain. Let us unite and form an alliance.
Yay!
We'll provide you with all of the crew, ships, and...
See? Works out perfectly.
We'll give you... Wait! I sense that you are offended by our craft material offer. Yes, I am ashamed. Any warmongering species could offer this. We are the children of the stellar breeze. We shall give you, what all others could not, the greatest of gifts. We shall give you our love. Ah, you are speechless. Do not talk now. I can feel the energy connecting us. Let us part while the silence remains. Farewell. But wait, before we go, as a small token of our love, not as a material gift, mind you, we'll give you 4 of our mega ships, fully crewed. Good luck.
And boom! Our little fleet just doubled in size. Pkunk ships are actually kind of terrible. You will get to see me use one eventually, because there is one point in the game where they're actually supremely useful. But generally speaking, they're, radioactives. They're not very good. They're small, very low hit points. Their weapon fires in 3 directions rapidly, but it's quite a short range and does almost no damage. The 2 fun things about them are, one, they power their ships through the psychic energy of their foes. So the way you recharge their batteries is by insulting the enemy. And the sound effect is actually like a randomly selected clip of the Pkunk yelling insults. And that recharges their batteries. And then the other thing is that there's a fairly high probability, I think it's 50%, but I'm not sure, that anytime a Pkunk ship is destroyed, it'll come back from the dead at full health, which is really cool. They are also, right now my ship is the fastest and most maneuverable in the game in hyperspace. Pkunk ships are actually very slightly faster and more maneuverable in combat. So in combat, they are actually the fastest and most maneuverable ships in the game, and there is one fight where that will matter. Oh, I forgot to check all the... That's not too bad. Just gotta keep half an eye on my HP. Alright. Got the radioactives, the other stuff's not worth landing for if I'm gonna take damage for it. Let's see if the rest of the system has anything interesting. If I recall, and I might be wrong, but I think this system might have or a very nearby one, might have biologicals, which early in the game, oh, that's a planet, are very, very important. Because they are how you, ooh, nice. They're of course how you buy stuff from the, what's their faces? Because they're easier to dodge, I find level 3 tectonics a lot less of an issue than level 3 lightning. But yeah, I'm pretty sure somewhere not far from here there's a planet that's good for biologicals. Scooping up the goop. Alright, so... Oh yeah, the other thing you notice, the behavior of the ships changed. Now... they're just kind of going about their business, no longer chasing me. Wait, was that a planet? Or was that just... That is a planet. I missed you. Now they're just going about their business rather than chasing me. When I first entered the system, they didn't know who I was, so they were like, let's chase you. Okay, here's the biologicals. I knew they were around here somewhere. It's got class 3 tectonics and weather, but I think I can take it. Unless, of course, I take off immediately on landing because I'm on. What even are those? Space chickens? They're running the heck away from me, wherever they are. Okay, wait. There's one that's headed. Nice. I got a biodata. I'm getting my butt. Okay, before I chase this guy. Oh my god, he took a lot. Ooh, 9 biodatas. Yeah, I'm down to half HP. Couple more hits and I'm gonna take off, just in case. They're so bloody fast. Okay. These buggers are fast. Fortunately, they're not aggressive, which is good because there are some animals in this game that can really hurt you. At least before you get better. Better shields for your lander. Ooh. May as well, even though these are pretty crappy minerals, may as well gather them up while I'm here. Ow. Oh, I'm taking off. I just noticed I'm at 1 hit point. Whew. Alright. Yay! It? Okay, that's the planet I visited before, and that is a different planet. Okay. What you got for me, planet? You've got really bad tectonics and not very good minerals. I'm out. Now, by my count, I got maybe 30 thingies there. That's not really enough to... Whoa. I don't know if I've ever seen a system look like this in the HD remake. I mean, I've definitely... they're chasing me. I don't want to talk to you. Meh. Dang it, you got me.
What a good day I am having! First, my nestmate surprises me with extra fat and spicy grabs for my meal. Then I am complimented on my fine display of ceremonial tongues. To top it off, I encounter the human friend, loved by all the kunk.
I am.
Can things get any better?
Alright. I'm not gonna talk to them right now.
Hi, Captain. When the Christmas there's one more rotating to harmonic union, we shall meet again.
So yeah, even friendly species, anytime you enter a system, will try to chase you. But yeah, it's like this really cool nebula background. I have not seen that before that I recall. Now, admittedly, I only played the HD remake once. I may just not have gone to this system. I don't know. Meh. One thing I really appreciate that the game does... Ugh.
The stars are in the...
One thing I really appreciate that the game does is that even after they're done chasing you, the ships don't just, like, orbit the planets. Or... Ugh. They don't just, you know, do one thing. They go around on little errands, you know? And they're consistent about it, like, when a ship leaves a system like these ones are, or leaves a planet screen like these ones are doing, it actually does go to the larger screen for the star. Gold isn't bad. Tectonics are easier to dodge than lightning. Yeah. Let's go for it. Oops. Tectonics are easier to dodge than lightning, she said. Alright. That's enough for me. Let's actually... steal... some crew, just in case we encounter any nasties out there. Since I'm going to be selling 3 of these ships anyway. Oh yeah, I'm planning to sell 3 of these ships and only keep 1. HopePkunk ships are fairly easy to come by. Alright. I don't remember... Oh! The zoom in button is Plus, it's listed right there. Let's kind of star hop in the general direction of home until I start running low on fuel. That seems like a goodly approach to me. Not really enough time left in this session to go meet anyone else. Ooh, a couple of gas giants here. Those will have moons. Moons might have stuff.
Were you aware that in one of your previous lives you were Duke Van Ferdinand? It's true. And before that, you were the Egyptian god pharaoh Atum-Ra. This is amazing, Captain. Just fantastic. Imagine having been so many important people. Now, to be frank, your case is not all that unusual. It just so happens that almost everyone's past lives was famous, rich, or interesting people. It seems that if you were a turnip farmer or a salesman or something boring like that, you aren't reincarnated. When you die, you just kind of sink.
I mean, that's the implication of the fact that when people do past life regression, which, by the way, if you study actual like Buddhist and Hindu thought, nothing comes with the soul during reincarnation. So it's not possible to remember past lives because your soul is unaccompanied by memories from life to life. Of course, that's in Hinduism and Buddhism, you know, the people who came up with this shit. Not New Age wackiness, so, which was come up with by appropriating white people. But yeah, it's astonishing how frequently people were, you know, Cleopatra in a past life, and how rarely they were random bricklayer number, you know, 473. No! I love you, Pkunk, but you're really densely packed in this part of space, and I really don't want to talk to you right now. Bunch of shit. Ooh. Biological pickables. Tectonics are a bit high, but I think I'm good. Okay, those are aggressive. And that hurt me. Even they're not aggressive, maybe it just... Why am I getting my butt kicked? Oh my god, that took a lot of... I am a moron. I just lost everything I picked up. And my lander. Well, I guess I'm going back home. Because there is not much I can do without a lander. So that's 2 episodes in a row, ending with me in a freaking disaster. Isn't that great? Why can't you zoom in? Why are you not zooming? Oh, because that's the wrong place. Oh, I am so smart. I am so smart. SMRT. I mean SMART. I need to remember, this is early game. Landers are fragile. That is really disappointing. Oh well. Sorry? At least it wasn't a long trip home. Oh, that was an enemy vest. Oh god, what now? Butts nuggets?
What? Can I believe my sensory cluster? I sense humans. I dance with joy for our good fortune. The human dies with such agony that it cannot help but please Dugar and Kazan.
We mean you no harm. Relax.
Relax, yes. Dugar and Kazan could not say it better. We will engage in the best stress-relieving activity. Prepare your tepid flesh bag for death.
Run away, run away, run away, run away, run away! Get nice and far away. Perfect. Warp the frick out of there. I love that he's pulling on his webs as how it navigates. Okay, well, so remember what I mentioned, that if somebody spawns directly in your path, they can catch you no matter how maneuverable and fast you are? There we go. I love the hyperspace music. Okay. Back home we go.
Greetings, Captain. I'm ready to assist you. I have some information I think you should hear. We are being bathed in a broad beam hyperwave transmission from the direction of the Rigel star system. Due to the broadcast's wide dispersion, we cannot discern its content. Good work, Captain.
Yeah, it's alright. Alright, yeah, that happens sometimes where, at certain dates within the game, or when certain conditions are met, when you arrive at the captain, he'll tell you news, essentially. Oftentimes, it's hints of what to do.
Be careful out there, Captain.
So, for example, that was a pretty strong go to Rigel hint. Alright. Let's... Oh my god, I pressed the wrong button again. Alright. Let's fill up on crew. For me and the pump ship I'm keeping. And, how do I can't bloody remember how to sell a ship. I know it's in the shipyard. Oh, there we go. 1, 2. And now I have oodles of money. That is actually one of the best ways in the game to get money, is to get given ships by aliens and then sell them. It's by a lander. It's in fact by 2. We are now as fast as we are ever going to be. And I am going to add a second fuel tank. Because we's gonna need it for what we're gonna be doing next time. Other than that, I think that's about it. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Patreon for early access to vlogs, essays, let's plays, and more. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye!